What's up, guys? We're back with another video, and today, this has just been a topic I've been talking about a lot with just some of my business partners, people I'm working with, and just top of mind. So I wanted to make it real quick. I just want to talk about the sales process, and I am a huge advocate of. I just think the sales process needs to be very manufactured, very scripted, and I think it starts like from the very beginning, from them seeing the ad, from them watching your VSL, whatever it is you do in your funnel. Like, I think everything from a messaging perspective has to be aligned. And I just also think that, like, it all just has to be so dialed in. And so I'm just going to kind of get into it. I'm going to walk through just a few different processes. Like I'm going to start at the VSL. I'm going to move on to some of the back end stuff, and then I'm really going to dive into like the actual sales script itself and just kind of some frameworks that I've built around it. And like that's honestly, I just find it fun. Like I love with offers that I work with. Like I don't take the sales myself, but like I really, really enjoy like scripting out the sales process and stuff, and it cooks. So I'm gonna get into it. So we start out our VSL. And I learned this framework. I think I saw it on a Jeremy Haynes YouTube video. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where I saw it. And it talks about the pit. And ever since I heard this, like I really tried to adopt that for the majority of messaging when it comes to the actual VSL. And so when you take someone to the pit, you are trying to take the viewer down deep into their pain before you offer them the way out. And so it's kind of there's a descent, and then you sell. And so the depth of the descent, that's what's going to make the solution feel like a sigh of relief instead of like them being pitched. And so I always like to start the descent like this. So we're going to name some of the constants in their life. So describe their exact everyday experience. Maybe they're dealing with like I pulled these frameworks from a recent health offer that I was just running, and so I'm kind of going to reference that a bit. So, like maybe they're dealing with a lot of exhaustion. Maybe it could just be the frustration that they live in, and you just really want to be specific. And this is going to be proof to them that you actually understand what they're going through. If you're vague about the pain, that's not going to convert because you can't really relate to them, and they will feel that if you're not very hyper specific with the pain that you're trying to pull out. And so then we want to move into the actual fear underneath. And so just you have to go past like surface level symptoms and like really like I don't want to be like gruesome, but like almost like you're digging a knife into a wound. Like you want to really dig deep into this pit and just get behind the fear that is driving it. And like you want the fear to kind of be like where they buy from in a way. And this sounds really horrible, but like I promise it works. Like this isn't manipulation. It works really, really well. And then you move into absolution. And so you want to hit them with like, you've tried this, it failed, and it wasn't your fault. And by saying that last part, it wasn't your fault, you're lifting the blame off of them. And so like it's very difficult for people to move towards a solution when they're defending their own failure. And so by you taking the blame off of them and saying, hey, this isn't on you, like this isn't your fault, you're moving them forward to being able to find a new way because they really weren't in control of what happened before. And so then you want to make them feel seen after. And so just keep stacking it until they feel like this offer is exactly built for their life, what they're going through, their business, whatever it is. And you just want the description to fit perfectly. And then they're going to assume that like your solution does as well. Okay. And so then we're going to take them to the turn. And like this is where everything just starts to change. And so I call it the hinge. So one line is really going to pivot this whole video from pain to hope. And you hit them with something, and this is corny. I think I pulled this literally straight from the VSL from the health author, but like, you're not broken. You just never had the structure. And everything before that is going to build to this line right here. And then everything after it is going to pay off. And so the descent only works because this line is waiting at the very end. That's just saying, hey, forget all that stuff. You just never had the right structure, but now it's here. Okay. And so then we move to the ascent. We're taking them up. And so we go to the payoff. So they feel seen at this point. Like they feel like, oh, this person really knows what I'm going through. And the offer is not going to be experienced as like a rescue and from where they currently are and not a sale anymore. And so you're not convincing them. You're literally handing them the exit that they were already reaching for. Like if they're on the page, like they were already reaching to get out of this pit that they were in. Okay. And then now it all moves them to just their gut is buying it. Okay. So like there's no more like it's not logic anymore. Like they're not buying because the logic checks out. We really haven't even talked about the actual thing we're going to do or the actual like how it's all fulfilled. It's all emotion based. And they're buying because it feels made for them, but they're also buying because they're looking at whoever is doing that VSL is like, oh, this person has been where I am. And so they're the person that can help me get out of it. Okay. And so, boom. Then we move on to, I talk about this a ton, so I'm going to just kind of skim by this, our breakout videos. And so, really, I just like to do it like this. We're going to have an objection inventory, just you know your offer, you know the questions that are typically going to come up in the sales process. And so, you just want to list every reason that someone like doesn't buy, every reason that someone gives you within the sales process. So every doubt, but what about this? And just make each one its own video and address it and like really like, and this is like probably a whole nother video, but like make your headline on this confirmation page something that like really pushes people to consume these breakout videos. Like it's so important that you kind of like force consumption in a way. Like that's been a really really huge part of me being able to operate with really high close rates, just because like I would have to look at actual numbers, but like a ton of people like they come onto these calls and they watch every breakout video, and that's really really important. Okay, so one video just has one job. Each breakout is going to move on exactly one belief, and then so yeah, we don't want it like trying to talk about two different things. Just very singular focus, and then we also just want to use some videos that are going to kind of like shift their beliefs. So maybe name like a false belief that people often will walk in with, and then now you're walking them to the new belief that they need in order to buy. Okay. And so, really, what each one does, we're pre-handling. So you're killing all the objections before the pitch ever happens. And so, really, what we want to do is we want to eliminate as many questions as possible during the sales process, because obviously, the more questions people have, it kind of takes away from the scripting there. And so, we just want to try and address everything up front. You're also building proof for each claim. Like each breakout video, it has its own like talking points, and you're kind of moving them past whatever it is. It could be a limiting belief. It could be like something that's happened in the past. Whatever it is, we're moving past that, and then each one is its own angle. Okay, so yeah. Then we're going to move into our pre-frame VSL, and so this one, like people will like skip the breakout videos sometimes. Like we really encourage and we do as much as we possibly can to like get people to actually watch them. But at the end of the day, people have free will, so like they're still gonna skip sometimes. But the pre-frame VSL, like mandatory, will not get on a sales call without people watching. It just can't happen because it's very important. And so this is a video that they're going to watch. It's after they book, but it's before they get into the sales motion. And like literally, its job is just to get them 100% educated so that the call is really just a conversation and like a confirmation of like, hey, you want to do this? Let's buy it. Okay. And so they're going to walk in knowing exactly what's coming. They're going to know enough about what the offer is. I put this in italics just because depending on the audience, like maybe you don't want to add the price, but like a lot of times we want them to know roughly what it's going to cost, what's expected from them. And like really, you just don't want any surprises because again, like surprises add friction, and then friction obviously kills closed deals. Okay. So this is how we go here. We set the table. So we have a call preview. We just tell them exactly how the call is going to run, what's going to be covered, what happens at the end. And when they know like the actual structure of the call, they kind of like relax and stay present instead of like bracing for like a hardcore sales call. Like for whatever reason, sales just make people very, very nervous. That's why people don't show up to sales calls, because they're like they feel pressure. And so we just want to let them know exactly what's about to happen. Okay. Then we move to our decision frame. We're just trying to make it clear, like this call, you're going to make a decision on this call, whether it's yes or no. You're going to make a decision. No, let me think about it. Like we just want to really set the expectation that an answer is the typical outcome that we are going to get on these calls. And then we move to full transparency. So, like I said, the offer reveal, we just want to spell out what it is, what's included. We don't want there to be a whole lot of mystery. Obviously, we'll go just a little more in depth on the call, but like people can't say yes to something that they're still trying to understand. So we just want to give them the details of the offer up front. Again, price transparency, it just kind of depends on the offer and the audience. Yeah, sometimes we give them the number. Other times we'll give them a clear range up front. And really, like the price is the price is no longer like this landmine on the live call. Like they already had their reaction to it and they showed up anyway. So that's typically a good sign. And that typically means they can't afford it, or like maybe are willing to, I don't know, buy now, pay later, or internal payment plan, whatever you want to do. Okay. And then we just have a fit filter. So we just try and say plainly like who this is for and who it's not. And like the wrong people opt themselves out and just won't hop on the call. And so, yeah, we want the right people to feel chosen and like, oh, they're speaking directly to me. Then we want to remove resistance. So give them credibility, just kind of establish like, why this works, proof, and like you just want them to understand all this before they're in the room and like they show up already trusting you instead of you having to like earn it live, or your closer having to earn it live. And then just a little more objection pre-handling. So just name the big objections in the video and then answer them in advance. And then every objection you kill is just, we don't want to handle them on the call. Like we want as minimal objections as possible on the call. And obviously there's still going to be objections, but we just want to try and take care of it ahead of time. And then we're also going to be priming the buyer. So we're telling them how to show up, what to have ready, what mindset to bring. Sometimes, again, it all depends on the offer, but sometimes I'll tell people, like in this VSL, what the questions are going to be on the call that we're going to ask them, so they have answers ready. And I do that more for like B2B type stuff, but still. And then really though, the goal, like we just want them to walk away with a clear decision, and you were almost like coaching them into an easy close before that call. Okay. And then we get to our actual sales process. So, like I said, I like our sales process to be very, very manufactured. People probably think I'm strict, but like it needs to be ran like the Navy SEALs, like no deviating from the script, no like, oh, can I say this in my voice? None of that. Like you got to just get to it. And so the way we do this, like every step is going to lower the resistance for the next. Like we're not asking anything until they've agreed to the next thing before. And so we start with our opening frame. We're just going to tell them how the call will go before like we actually get going. Okay. And so just putting yourself in the driver's seat. And then also this is where we ask them if they watched the VSL. If they didn't, we immediately say, okay, here, I'll turn my camera off and I'll go on mute, watch that video really quickly. It'll take you about 10 minutes and then we'll hop back on. Must watch the VSL. Okay. It helps so much. And then we move on to the yes ladder. So pretty much every question that's going to be asked during the sales process, we just want to get a yes answer from them. And like we're just trying to stack tiny agreements so that the big yes at the end that we want is just the next step in the pattern. So we're literally just trying to get as many yeses as possible, just over and over and over again. Okay. And then we also like to do like a responsibility transfer. Just let them know results depend on them. We're going to help you. We're going to do everything we can to get you the result. But like you got to do some work. And again, that just kind of sets some expectations there that can help you in the long run. And then from there, we start building the problem. So just gap selling. We start anchoring the distance between where they are and where they want to go. And so we're just selling the gap here, not the product. We haven't even talked product yet. Then we start getting into the pain, the pain beneath the pain. So we're like really trying to push past like the surface level complaint and try and get into like the deeper fear that's driving it, or the deeper desire. Because again, like the real buying emotion, it's not the first answer most of the time. And so one thing that I put in every single script, after say we ask them a question and like it's a long-winded answer, it doesn't matter how long their answer is. Okay, and what else? Like we always want to ask what else. We just want to pull everything we can out of them, and then once they give us another, okay, and what else? And we just keep doing that until I don't have anything else. Okay, like it's really important. And then we like to recap everything. So after they give you an answer, and like this is something you have to kind of practice, you want to mirror their words back constantly. Like people buy from whoever makes them feel understood and from whoever makes them feel like they've been listening. And so literally as soon as they tell me the problem, I'm like, oh, okay, so it sounds like XYZ. And trust me, it works. It's like a psychology thing. That could also be a whole nother video. And then from there, we want to kind of like earn the pitch. And so, again, it's kind of in a way like stacking yeses. Like no one's going to say no if you ask them. You want me to walk you through what we do? And so, we're just saying, I want me to walk you through what we do. And they're giving you consent to sell, and like it's never going to feel pushed. And then we get into our offer. So this is the fastest part of the entire process. We do not want it to be long-winded. So we keep this small on purpose. This just depends on the offer, but I like to add this when it's like truthful and makes sense. And just limited access is going to kind of make it seem like very high quality. We start with some future pacing. So we just walk them step by step through who they're going to become from this offer, and they're going to realize the outcome before they pay for it. And then we want to let them know like this is built specifically for X situation so that they feel like it's custom. And then from there, we kind of know some of the things that people have tried in the past, and you'll know for your offer. And so we just want to be a contrast from that. So this is not another version of what you've tried, and you're trying to position yourself against the thing that has already failed them. And then the close is just an assumptive close. I kind of forgot to edit this, but here, let me write this right now. I literally just say you want to get started. That's it. Like it's so easy. Just we good. Like I said, this is the fastest part of the entire script, and this is all right. So you want to get started, and you just like breeze by like it's just a normal thing. And a lot of people are like, yes. You send the link right away, and then you just start moving as fast as you can to get the close and get the cash collected. I found that this works very, very well. I had a girl in this offer who's terrified of sales. It was a health offer, terrified of sales, never sold anything before. And she was really, really worried. We scripted the entire thing for her, and literally her very first sales call, she closed a high ticket deal and like was super, super excited. And so this stuff works. And this is a long video. But yeah, man, this was a fun one. I know it's a little different from my typical marketing stuff, but yeah, like, comment, follow me on X and Instagram.